Hey there, it's your boy Foxy, back for more relationship stories. Relationships has their ups and downs, and sometimes you just go through life. You spend all your time and energy trying to build a life for you and your new family, but then you realized you've been neglecting your wife all this time. You try to reverse course upon realizing that you're going to lose the one person you care about the most, unless you make changes. Years later, you can say that you've done great, and now you like how life has turned out. Happy home life with the wife and kids. Then one day you get blindsided with the revelation that the partner you love and care for so much betrayed you in such a devastating way. With your own family member, no less. This is what happened to the first poster of this episode. Original post. Title basically sums it up. I, 36 male, was absolutely blindsided last night. For some background info, my wife 35, and I have been married for 11 years, and have 2 young children together. We weren't as close at the beginning of our marriage because I was working so much, but since having kids, we grew to be a lot closer. Likewise, I never had the best relationship with my brother, and we've frequently clashed throughout our childhood and adulthood. However, he attended college in the same city where I reside, and because housing was too expensive, I let him stay with us as a sophomore. After college and marrying my sister-in-law, he has become a lot more mature, and our relationship improved. Of course, all of my feelings towards the both of them have changed for the worst after last night. So, the other day, I invited my brother and sister-in-law to dinner. We all had a good time, and after the kids went to bed, we decided to have some drinks. Unbeknownst to me, my brother and sister-in-law had been arguing all day before coming to our house, so tensions were high. During a story about my brother's time in college, I could tell my sister-in-law was getting agitated. She kept looking at me, and I was confused as to why, until we all were quiet. She turned to me and said something along the lines of, "Did you know your brother and wife were pretty much hooking up the whole time?" At first, I thought she was just making a sick joke, until I saw their faces. Both my brother and my wife had expressions that were a mixture of shock and guilt. Even thinking about it now makes me sick to my stomach. Before they even said anything, I knew. I got up from the table, and both of them followed me trying to apologize and explain. From what I understood is that, during my brother's sophomore year, my wife cheated on me with him. They slept together while I was away from the house, and they decided to end it because they didn't want to hurt me. Yeah, right. He wasn't with my sister-in-law at the time, so he must have told her about their affair recently. I'm not sure how long she has known nor why she decided to tell us this at dinner. My wife tried to justify it by saying that it was 8 years ago, and she didn't want to throw away what we have now for a mistake in the past. I threw them all out of the house, and I haven't responded to any calls or texts. I'm unsure of where to go from here because my wife and I have kids together, and like she said, it was 8 years ago. I was humiliated last night, and I'm not sure what my next step should be. I can't get the image of them together in my house out of my head. I love my wife so much, but this revelation has completely shattered my image of her. I don't know how I can ever forgive my brother for this. Now for the top advice before reading the update. The justification of it was 8 years ago baffles me. Like, yes, maybe, but to me, it is new information today. I personally don't think I'd be able to get past that. I'd divorce, since I'd rather see my kids grow in 2 separate happy homes than watch me resent their other parent. I'd be going no contact with the brother, and I would take out the sister-in-law for drinks. She really did you a solid. Take DNA tests from your children as well. It's best to know. I had a person lie to me about something, and when I finally figured it out like 8 months later and asked her about it, she was like, "I don't know why you care about this. It's old news." Yeah, old to you, brand new to me. My ex was always like, "Why are you bringing up my past cheating? We're talking about my recent cheating," which is a paraphrase, removing all BS and nonsense rationalizations. I'm pretty sure sister-in-law waited to be drunk to tell him. Now she told him and cleared her conscience, with little to no backfiring from it. Smart. OP, thanks sister-in-law, she's a great person. I'd like to add that I have no problem with the sister-in-law's timing for lobbing this grenade. It made it impossible for the wife and brother to lie and keep it hidden. Some would argue against the way this was done, but there was no way this information could be soft-pedaled anyway. It always baffles me when the lying or cheating partner says that the other person would be throwing away the relationship. No, they threw it away by cheating on you, and then lying for 8 years. Oh, but remember, they didn't want to hurt him, so they're saints really. Oh, absolutely, so consider it. Get the kids tested and get yourself checked for STDs. She was willing to cheat with your own brother, so she's not overly concerned it will get back to you. There's no reason to think this is the only time she cheated. As for her explanation, here's what she means. She only cheated because she wanted to, and only hid it because she didn't want to have any consequences. She's been cool with lying to you all along. She only feels bad now because it might negatively impact her life. I'm sorry, but you just found out who your wife really is. Thank you. I can't even begin to think about DNA testing, but you're right. I need to know the full truth. I don't think our marriage is going to continue. She has completely broken my trust and would have continued to lie about it if my sister-in-law hadn't brought it up. And now for the update. First and foremost, I DNA tested my children. The affair took place years before they were born, but I wanted to be sure. They are mine. My kids mean everything to me, and it's difficult having to try to explain what's going on and why their parents are suddenly splitting since they're so young. I've been very depressed as of late, and besides work or taking care of them, it's been hard to find the energy to do anything. I feel so numb, and it's been so difficult adjusting to this new life. As for my wife, it's been hard talking to her. Every time I see her, I'm reminded of her and my brother's betrayal. I imagine them in my own home, knowing that both of them knew they were hurting me. She's currently living with a friend while I stay in the house. I've been very cold towards her, and every conversation has been mainly about our kids. Under our state's guidelines, my wife and I are separated and undergoing a cooling-off period for a couple of months. However, there is almost no question we are going to get divorced. My wife has been very bitter about this, and she's gone from calling me an asshole to begging me to take her back. I've received texts, calls, emails from some of her family members asking me to reconsider. I don't think that I could ever really trust her again knowing she hid this from me, especially when she had constant contact with her affair partner, my brother. I love her, but I also resent her deeply. A few days ago, I agreed to meet with my brother and sister-in-law. It was a tough decision because I haven't seen him since that night at dinner, and I wasn't sure if I would be able to meet face to face without hitting him in the face. He again expressed remorse and guilt. He told me that he and my wife had always been close, and the following is basically a summary of his side. My wife and I met in college, and he was introduced to her when he was still a teen. He said their relationship at first was like having an older sister. Our dad left when he was young, and I think that I tried to fill the fatherly role, which led to us frequently clashing. Meanwhile, my wife was someone that would listen to him. He said that whenever they saw each other, she was always friendly and warm, treating him like a best friend. He said that he developed feelings for her which she apparently was aware of, but nothing ever happened between them because she treated him like a friend. It wasn't until he was in college and living with us that she reciprocated, and the affair began. She was the one to break it off because she wanted to try rekindling our marriage. It was a secret that both of them agreed to keep, and he was terrified of telling me, especially after our relationship improved in adulthood. I'm still furious with my brother for lying to me over the last 8 years, but his story helped me understand the context of the affair a little better. It doesn't make me feel any better, but I am at least aware of how it started. It makes me sick to think of my wife doing this. This woman, once the love of my life and mother of my children, is like a stranger to me now. My sister-in-law only knew that my wife and brother had an affair, but she was unaware of their earlier relationship. She apologized to me for revealing it the way she did, and humiliating both me and my brother over an argument they'd had earlier. Thank you for reading this far. I'm unsure of where to go from here. I still feel so broken and lost after my wife's revelation, and I know that I have to keep going for my kids, but I'm not sure when or if I can think about forgiveness or moving on to a new relationship. Where do I go from here? It feels like my life has been completely torn apart. Gray rock is a technique to use whenever you have any contact with your wife. If your decision to divorce is final, contact should stay civil and be about the children only. Any questions about anything else should be diverted to your divorce lawyer. If you haven't retained a lawyer, you should do that as soon as possible. Came here to suggest the gray rock or the 180 method for UOP. Please spend some quality time with your kids, family, and friends. If you haven't already, you need to inform your family and friends of what your wife and brother did. They betrayed you in a significant manner. You certainly don't owe it to them to lie to cover their cheating. They need to face the consequences, and if you lie or keep quiet, then the cheaters win. This brings me to this second point. She has a strong dissonance when she was calling you an asshole for kicking her out, so somehow it is your fault now. That tells me that she's not okay with having to deal with the consequences of her actions. Her begging to take her back is just her way to cover her behind and to keep maintaining her lifestyle and a good family image. It has got nothing to do with you. As for her family members calling you to ask you to reconsider, they of course would have her best interests at heart. Unfortunately, her best interests do not align with your best interests anymore. If you want, I would call the soon-to-be ex-father and mother-in-law and ask them these questions. If their own partner betrayed them in such a significant manner, would they still get back together with that person? If they are brazen enough to answer yes, then tell them that you would need to have no self-respect in order to do that. Also, request them to stop calling, or better yet, just block all her family's numbers. Good luck. This is hard, but this too shall pass and days will get less worse. Sorry OP. Ultimate betrayal by two people who claim to love you. Your wife is, sorry to say, trash. Took advantage of a younger man, your brother, in your home. Unacceptable. Stick to your guns. She was going to take this to her grave. There is no coming back from this. She called you an asshole first. Now she is begging. Of course, she crushed her world. Not you, her. Divorce her. You can do better. My wife has been very bitter about this, and she's gone from calling me an asshole to begging me to take her back. I find it hilarious she has any right to be bitter, considering she is the one who cheated. But hey, cheaters never change and are always selfish pieces of trash. Now for the last story. My girlfriend goes out with her single female friend, and two guys I've never met or heard of. Original post. So my 23 male, girlfriend 25 female, went out with her single friend last night, and they hung out and partied with two guys I've never met or heard of. While I'm usually chill about her going out with her friends, I do feel a discomfort knowing she had done coke all night and woke up with a hangover. Obviously I don't control her, but I just don't like the idea of it. How should I react to this situation? She was too hungover to really have a conversation with me this afternoon, so I told her we can talk later. I blindly trust her always, but is this something I should just not pay mind to? Or is it okay to tell her I don't really feel comfortable with her doing that? Now for the top advice before reading the update. There is a huge difference between setting boundaries and controlling someone. If you're not comfortable with her doing meds, which is totally understandable, especially with strangers, because that's just stupid and unsafe, and she can't respect that, it might be time to be done. In my experience, if they cross the line of your comfort once and try to convince you it's okay, they're going to keep doing it. Your girlfriend and her single girlfriend go out, hang out with two dudes you don't know, doing coke all night, and she tries to turn it around on you. That is the recipe for disaster right there, brother. I definitely would not tolerate that, not in a relationship. Yes, she crossed the line. Up to you if you decide to try and talk to her about it. If she gets defensive and tries to turn it back on you again, walk on, tell her have a nice life. Stay strong, stand by your principles. You got this, brother. Good luck. You have to be a moron to ignore this giant red flag. She and friend went out with two guys all night doing coke and partying all night. She definitely cheated. My ex did the same. She did recreational meds, usually at parties that I wasn't at. It's the same story. One time she got so high and practically tore my clothing off after returning from a party. At first I was like, hell yeah. But the next day, 2020 kicked in, and I wondered if that behavior happened to someone else when I wasn't available. If you're saying to yourself yes, ding ding winner winner chicken dinner. Eventually even her own friends were like, you're a great guy, but she's banging so and so whenever she gets a break from you. Either they meet at party I couldn't attend, or they just went to a bar then parking lot. He was an ex that sold stuff, so she was getting a discount. What a horrible way to live your life. Karma was not kind to her. Eventually all that partying and stuff did something to her brain, and she ended up really messed up needing long-term care. Last time I saw her, I don't think she could even speak. Just sad really. She was fun to be with, and I really did love her and her energy, but I guess part of that energy was coming from that self-destructive side. And now for the update. I spoke to her and explained why it made me uncomfortable. Obviously, I got hit with the, why don't you trust me, and the, this is controlling behavior thing. But again, this is not about trust for me. It is not about telling her what she can and can't do in this relationship. This is about having a certain level of respect and boundaries in a relationship based on my expectations. So, I made it clear that she can do whatever she wants, and that's fine. However, I made it clear that I don't like it and it's not something I want in my romantic relationship, and she can do whatever she wants with that information. Simple as that. No one should have to deal with things they don't like in a relationship. If they can't respect that, and their actions show you they didn't take those things into consideration, then you know where she stands and you can end the relationship knowing that you respected yourself and your woman. This goes the same for anyone in a relationship. I have made a decision. After a lot of thought and talking to my mom and some friends, I think it's best I end my relationship. Thinking about it makes me incredibly sad, as it's difficult not to think back on the good memories we've had, but I know it'll be better for me in the long run. Despite how much this is going to suck, I'm going to focus on just myself now. I just started a new job that I love, got my driver's license, and I'm eager to build and grow myself up to be the best version of myself. I've realized just how often my girlfriend's been gaslighting me. The thing is, she's done this before with this same friend, where she went to the club with her and 2 guys. Her friend apparently was hooking up with one of the guys, and she admitted to having danced a bit with the other guy. We've also already had a rocky week prior to this because she hid her phone from me while we were sitting on the couch watching the new Stranger Things finale. So, there's been a clear pattern. I had approached her about both incidents and was labeled as controlling when I asked her if I could see who she was Snapchatting, and she declined to show me. She also claimed that I shouldn't have to look through someone's phone if you trust them, but I just asked to see who she's snapping, which is perfectly reasonable given the circumstance. I should have left her then. Along with that, she's also seemingly avoided posting pictures of us together romantically on her Instagram, but she has 20+ photos of her ex still on there. She takes her Instagram seriously, as in she cares about her follower to following ratio. She never respected me, and I guess I'm just coming to terms with it now. I was naive about it, but I can say I've learned a valuable lesson about relationships. Set boundaries early in your relationship. Put your foot down, because a woman won't respect you otherwise. I thought giving her the freedom to do what she wanted all the time was a way to show her I trusted her and that I wasn't bothered by other guys. Well, screw that. I'm territorial, whether I like it or not. That's who I am. Maybe this is all right for her, but this isn't the type of committed relationship I was looking for. Writing this has already helped me so much for me to come to terms with it. Thank you to those that listened and gave some thoughtful responses. I'll give an update on the situation probably within the next few days. Last update. Just came here to say I broke up with her, and I actually feel a bit relieved. Obviously, I feel some sadness, but I feel like it was the right choice.